Hi, my name is Corey McDowell and I am the K-12 principal at Fowler Schools in Fowler, Kansas. And my teachers have worked with me and a few students to create this video to highlight student success skills in our district. As we started the redesign process, one thing that we were really trying to think about with social emotional learning was finding a plan and a program that would be fully integrated. We wanted something that would work for our elementary building and flow into our secondary building. We have a K-5 building and then a 6 through 12 building. And we also were looking for something that would not be a standalone program. So we didn't want pull-out sessions, or we didn't want once a week, weekly sessions that were the responsibility of just one teacher in the district. So we were looking for a way to create a program that could be integrated into everything that we did throughout the day, that all of our staff members were equally involved in. And so what we ended up coming up with in the grade school is we developed a leadership program. It's based on the 7 Habits and The Leader in Me, which is by Stephen Covey, follows his work. And we developed a program where we teach the 7 habits for kids. We teach them how to be leaders, and they have leadership opportunities in our school. In the secondary building, we adopted the 16 Habits of Success from the Summit Learning curriculum. Our school does use Summit Learning for 6th through 10th grade. And our students learn those habits of success, and they apply those habits through self-directed learning time, and they work to build them and set goals and make plans with their teachers during their weekly mentor meetings as well. So that's kind of what you're going to hear about in our video today, how we teach and build habits in our school district, and also about goal setting as a specific component within that. So we do goal setting in both of our buildings. We know if you have a goal that you can make a plan. So students being able to set goals and make plans based on their own needs and their own interests and what they want to get out of school, what they want to get out of life, is an important skill that's going to help them to be prepared for the real world. And that's really what we're trying to do, is make sure that when our students leave Fowler High School, that they're ready for the real world. So in the next little snippets, you'll hear from some different teachers about habits and goal setting at Fowler Schools.
We started off doing a book study on The Leader in Me by Stephen Covey. And we learned the habits and started applying them ourselves. We revisited the habits during our collaboration meetings, as well as taught them to our students. And we have authentically modeled the habits for our students so they can see how we use them. In addition, our principal this year did a back-to-school video regarding COVID using the 7 habits. And if you're interested, you can visit our Facebook page, USD 225, to watch the video.
All right, we use the 7 Habits of Happy Kids to help get our leadership habits across to the children. And we read it, we discuss it. It's great to be able to use during the classroom whenever there's a problem and we need to figure out how to solve it. We can refer back to the language of our 7 habits and how we could use the 7 habits to help us solve the problems. Every morning during announcements, the principal will discuss one of the habits, and one of the nice things about that is there's usually a scenario that she talks through so that the kids can see how the habits can actually be used in their daily life.
Teachers, please join me in our commitment statements. Our classroom is a better place because you are part of it. We will work as a team to be safe and successful. It is my honor to be your teacher. Students, please join me in our leadership statement. Goldbugs do the right thing even when no one is watching. This year we are continuing to focus on the 7 habits. Habit 3 is put first things first. This habit teaches us to work first, then play. You do what you have to do so that you can do what you want to do. Leaders recognize that complaining about the work doesn't make it go away. It just makes it take longer before you get to do the fun stuff. leaders don't complain about the work that needs to be done. At Fowler Grade School, we believe that gold bugs lead their lives, their school, and their world. So be sure to put first things first today at school and at home. Now it's time to start working toward our wildly important goal for this quarter by spending 5 minutes on Rocket Math. I can't wait to see how many levels you pass this week toward our WIG. And remember, at Fowler Grade School, we love you, and it's a great day to be a
At Fowler Grade School, we promote leadership, and one of our big things is to have leaders. As you can see right here, these are different leaders roles that we have in our school, and students are able to choose what leadership role they want to have, and they apply for it and get interviewed by our Lighthouse Leadership Council, which is our student council. We don't only promote leaders, we also promote making goals. So with that, we have a school-wide goal, and that is called our WIG. It's our widely important goal. And we graph what we do each week with our goal. This year, our goal is to have 80% of our students pass one level in Rocket Math. And this is where we chart our goal. So we have what our goal is, we have our chart, and then we have what each week is to make it to our goal, which is 287 by the end of 7 weeks. So here at Fowler Grade School, we're trying to promote leaders and making goals.
Hi. In our classroom, we do a lot of goal setting. We have a class goal that we work on during our class meetings when we talk about items that we need to work on. And this particular one is that we're going to pass at least one level of Rocket Math each week. We also go all the way down to a student level. They use their sticky notes to put up their SMART goals, starting to work on those, just the first part, making it relevant and realistic. And they'll put their stickies up here and then move them down when they accomplish. We also have our leadership notebooks that our kids use in class, that they can track their attendance, their test scores, and other information to help them kind of take responsibility for their learning. Thanks.
So my name is David Adams. I'm the science teacher here at Fowler Junior Senior High School. And as far as some of the habits of successes that I find myself focusing on with my students and my mentor groups and in the classroom itself, the most important one right now is self-efficacy, students believing that they can be successful, and growth mindset. And it's understanding that their intelligence isn't just a set amount of currency and that's all they have to spend, but that you can grow your intelligence. I hold weekly one-on-one meetings with each of my mentees. I've got 8 that I meet with every single week, and I help my mentees develop those habits of self-efficacy and growth mindset in our mentor meetings by reflecting on their met goals and their unmet goals and what are the processes that they used in order to see those sorts of results. We talk about what contributed to their success or lack thereof, and then I tie in a habit that we focus on that might help them in the future. So if there's a particular style of note-taking, another big one is stress management, and I've taught some of my students, hey, this is how to do some breathing exercises in order to refocus yourself. This year I had all of my students pick one academic habit of success to focus on. That way they could grow those habits. And did that at the beginning of the year, and every kid picked a different habit, and so it's just helping them be successful in those goals and helping them understand that yes, they can be successful, and we're here to help support that growth.
So when we're talking about habits and growths within the high school and middle school context, you've already heard a little bit about the mentorship system. However, we want to see our students be able to put that into action on their own. So in order to make sure that that happens, we have something called our self-directed learning cycle, in which students have a set block of time every single day in order to focus on passing content assessments or to focus on getting outside work done. However, instead of having teacher-imposed goals, it is the student's job to essentially create those goals for themselves. So when we're talking about that self-directed learning, we actually do have a set cycle for this. So within that time, that SDL time, students will move through this entire cycle. The first thing that they do within this hour of every hour in which they have this SDL block is that they will set a goal. And these are kind of teacher-enforced norms that eventually go on to very student-enforced. I have students who are really, really excited to show off their goal for the day. After they've set that goal, they're going to make a plan for actually accomplishing that goal. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in a bit. Then they go about the actual doing of it, right? You can set a goal all you want, but if you don't do it, then it's kind of pointless. After that, they have to demonstrate that they have met that goal. So for some people, that may be showing the teacher that, hey, I have completed this page of notes over this objective in this content area. For other students, their showing or their demonstration that they've met that goal will be passing a test, or it will be submitting a checkpoint for feedback, or something along those lines. After that, their next job is to reflect. If things went well, what made it go well? If you weren't able to meet that goal, then where was the breakdown and what was the dysfunction? So, when we're talking about goal setting, we do use something called SMART goals. And these should be familiar to most people, that they are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-based. And we start the students off every year by teaching them about these SMART goals. And I have some students who have been here for a while and they've heard the same SMART goal lecture over and over again, but on the same time, when I tell them later on in the year, hey, make this goal for class, it means they're ready and they know how to articulate every part of their goal. So when we're talking about SMART goals, you have to be specific. What do you actually want to accomplish? I want to take a page of notes over objective 3 in this content area. Is it measurable? How will I measure the achievement of my goal? Well, I'll make sure that I have the page of notes done, right? Is it achievable? What are the specific steps to reach my goal? Well, I probably need to look at my resources. I need to figure out what kind of notes I want to take. Maybe I want to take Cornell notes or outline notes, or maybe I want to take notes over video resources, which kind of depends on me being able to pause, and et cetera, et cetera. How does this goal relate to my long-term goals and interests? I have one student who loves to refer back to I want to do well in this course, so that way I can get good grades, that way I can get into the college of my choice. Where you might have other students who just say, I think that my long-term goal is making sure that I'm just staying on top of all of my stuff this month, right? So when we're talking about relevance, that is something where you want to build that personal connection with the student. That way you always know how to refer back to specific long-term interests. And then finally, you have time-based. So for some students, they're going to say, hey, I'm gonna need a couple of days to complete this. So this is a goal that I'm gonna carry with me throughout all of my classes for the next couple of days to make sure that I am working on it throughout this time. Other students may say, I wanna take this test and I wanna do it within the next 10 minutes. Yes? So when we're talking about time-based, again, it is goal-specific. Students, again, it's a difficult teaching process at the beginning of the year, but once they know to very actively articulate what their goals are going to be and how to create them, it means that students actually start to hold themselves accountable to those goals and will come prepared to, say, mentor meetings and be ready to talk about, hey, I don't think I gave myself enough time. So when we're moving from that goals back to reflection, a lot of that reflection is done within the mentoring cycle, but it's also done independently as students move throughout the day.
One thing that I've definitely learned about redesign is that it's never over. You never get to the point that you've truly redesigned your whole school and you're finished and you can just sit back and enjoy. We're constantly, even though we've already launched our redesigned school at Fowler, we're constantly thinking about what else can we do to keep pushing ourselves further, how can we make this better for students. So one new idea that we're trying this year at Fowler High School is we have all of our students during first hour doing self-directed learning time with their mentor teacher. And this allows us before school to have a huddle, is what we call it. All the the teachers in the high school get together for a 15-minute huddle before school, and we talk about what can we do today during first hour to make this day be the best it can be for kids, to set them up for success. And so in our huddle, we're talking about these 16 habits that we're trying to teach students, and we're breaking that down to develop ourselves professionally a little bit more, understanding exactly what actions we can take to teach the habit and model the habit, and then also really being able to articulate what it looks like when a student has mastered that habit and when they're using it in their daily life. And then we identify in the huddle any concerns or issues that we're seeing with students not having the habits that they need, and then take that back to first hour to develop a plan and work with the student. So for example, one of the 16 habits is executive functioning skills. So a student who is weak in that may have difficulty planning and organizing for their day. They might be that kid that doesn't have their Chromebook charged, they don't know where their paper is, and they don't have a pencil. So as we recognize that and talk about it in the huddle, the mentor goes back and can work with that student during first hour to help them get organized for the day, basically to be proactive and spend some time at the beginning of the day preparing for that so that they'll be successful the rest of the day. So basically through the huddle as teachers, and then going straight from there into first hour where the teachers are with their mentees, really we're trying to identify any weaknesses that our students have with habits, and then capitalize on that opportunity to really get to the root that's causing them to be weak in that area, and help them to build and improve on that skill. So to wrap up our video today, I'm just going to let you hear from a few students about how habits and goals are helpful to them, and thank you for joining us at Fowler Schools today.
One of the habits that helped me was being proactive. It helped me by helping me get my work done on time, and it helped me focus on my work.
Goals help me stay on track when I lose my train of thought or I get really busy with other things. Personally, I do my goals like a to-do list, just to make sure that with every other day things I can stay on top of my daily routine. And then when I'm in the classroom with my teacher, we do SMART goals.
Goals help me by making a plan for the day. It helps me get my work done.
One reason I like goals in the school is because they give me something to, they give me a challenge for myself. So, because sometimes I get bored in school, and it gives me something to look forward to and be excited about at the end of the day.
So how I'd make, how a goal would help me on my content assessment would be by making a plan and making a SMART goal to make progress on my learning skills. Every time I make a SMART goal, it would have to be reasonable to figure out what I need to do on my content assessment.
So something that's helped me out a lot this year is being organized. Last year, I really wasn't organized that much, and I kind of struggled. Like, for instance, this year on Monday, I only work on history things, and I set goals for only history subjects, and right now I have 3 power focus areas past just doing that. And I did all those in one day just because I studied only on that one thing, and on Tuesdays I only work on science, and it just really helps me out a lot. Like, I feel like I'm doing a lot better than last year and the year before that.